John White here. I'm part of the leadership team for the Luke 10 community, which is a community of practice for church planters. And we've just finished something we call the MRT experiment, MRT 1.0, which has been a 3-month experiment with church planting teams in 15 different cities or regions in 4 different countries. It's gone for 3 months, and we're just finishing that up. And I'm thrilled by the results of it. I just think it's gone very well. And we feel like the Lord is leading us to an MRT 2.0. So this will be during the summer, June, July, and August. And we'll do the same kinds of, we'll engage in the same kind of practices or disciplines that we did in 1.0, but we're going to add a couple of things. And we're exploring those new elements over these days. First of all, we're going to have 2 cohorts. Instead of just one, there'll be 2 groups. I'll lead one, and Hobby Chapin will lead one. And secondly, we're going to add the element of coaching. This is a key skill that is important in terms of church planting and seeing really healthy families develop. So we'll be talking about it, but even more, we'll be practicing it. So Hobby and myself and Tim Pines and some others will make themselves available to do some coaching. Some of you have had a lot of experience with coaching, some of you not very much, and we want to be available to help in this area. And the third element that we're going to be sort of an innovation this summer, we'll be experimenting with, has to do with financing church planters. And over the next couple of days, I'm going to introduce some of the ways that we're thinking about this subject, and really would enjoy and appreciate your comments on this. Let's talk about it together. In order to begin this topic, I want to use a coaching tool that Kent Smith introduced to us a couple of days ago. It's called Future Perfect. The idea, or the purpose, is that it gives us a way of thinking about our vision, our outcome. What would this actually happen if what we've dreamed about, what we've prayed about, actually happened? So it helps us to explore where we're headed. That gives us some clues and hints about how to get from here to there. So here's my Future Perfect. I wake up tomorrow morning, and something that I have prayed for and dreamed about for years and years has occurred. A miracle has occurred. And that is that there is a vibrant family of Jesus, literally within easy access of every single person in the city of Denver. Across all of the neighborhoods, across the suburbs, across all the cultural and ethnic groups, there are thousands now of these vibrant families of Jesus in the city of Denver. It's a miracle. As I look around and notice, what do I see? There are lots and lots of things that I might see, but I'm going to focus on a particular series of things, and it goes like this. One of the things that I notice in this future perfect, this ideal picture that I have, is that every single one of these thousands of house churches, every single one is really a healthy group. It's a healthy family. And this health is expressed in lots of ways. It's not that people don't have issues or problems, but they're dealt with in healthy ways. There's health in relationships with God, first of all, and then with one another. And then that it's characterized by that wonderful Hebrew word shalom. So each of these thousands of house churches are filled with shalom. There's a wholeness, there's a health that's there, and that then overflows into the community. Working backwards, the next thing that I notice is that each of these thousands of house churches are led by a spiritual grown-up. That is an individual, and it could be a couple, could be 2 or 3 people, but there's at least one who is a really mature, godly person who functions as a spiritual mom or dad in the context of this church family. And in fact, the health of this individual or this couple or this group of people really explain the health of this house church. And they are giving leadership in a very appropriate and effective kind of way. Working backwards one more step, I see that these thousands of house church leaders, each of them is being coached or discipled or served by a person that we'll call an apostolic coach. Again, it could be a man or woman who is a mature person and who is committed to the success of these individual house church leaders. They have time to invest in them, they have resources, they're doing coaching, they're encouraging. These apostolic coaches not only help existing house churches, but they also are involved continually in finding people of peace and planting new house churches. And so there are literally hundreds of these apostolic coaches throughout the city of Denver. Again, different ethnic groups are represented here. Geographically, they're spread across the entire city. It's an incredible picture. We'll work backwards one more step. As I look at this picture, I see that some of these apostolic coaches are tent makers. They have a full-time job, and then on the side, they're doing this coaching. But then I see that there's a whole other group of people that are have their tent making job is only part-time. They're working 20 hours a week in some job, and then the rest of their time, 20, 30 or more hours a week, are freed for them to invest in the lives of these house church leaders. And then I see a whole nother group of these folks. There are maybe hundreds of them as well, who are working full-time in the harvest. Apostolic coaches that have been, they're qualified, they're effective, they're planting churches, and they're discipling and coaching existing house church leaders. And they have been released into the harvest because finances have been available for these people. Now, they're not getting rich, but they have enough money to put bread on the table and support their families and to do that thing that God has called them to do. It's where Jesus says that a laborer is worthy of his hire. And these laborers are being supported in order to do this work that God has called them to. One more step. If we go backwards, what I see in Denver is a culture of generosity with all the believers. They are people that don't just spend the money on themselves, but they are looking for things to invest in. And high on their list are these apostolic coaches. There's a high value in the city of Denver of investing in these people, especially if they're investing in us. And so there literally is not one single apostolic church planter or coach who is qualified and gifted and called by God who is restrained from doing this work because of lack of finances. There is so much financial support that everyone who needs it and who deserves it has it, and that's been the result. The result of that has been this wonderful saturation church planting that's occurring across the city of Denver, and that literally is transforming the city in every area of in education, in politics, in business. The city is being transformed. So that's my future perfect picture, and I'd like you to visualize something like that with your city or region. What if that were true? What if the finances were available so that everyone who is called to be a church planter would have the resources necessary to do that work? What would that feel like? So I'd like you to go to the bottom of this page and hit comments and talk about what that would be like for you. What would it mean to you if that picture were true, especially in terms of the financial part of it in your city? We'll talk more about this tomorrow, but leave us your comments today. Thanks.